Hello and welcome to Sit with Hitlist, our completely unscripted, unedited podcast and print conversation series. With me is, well, as everyone said here, man of the moment, Karan Johar. Thank you so much for being here, Karan.
No, thank you for inviting me, Mayank.
Yeah, just to put a timeline to this conversation, this is taking place about 10 odd days since the release of Rani Kii Prem Kahani. And that was your first feature in 7 years.
Yeah.
What a comeback, Karan. Fabulous comeback.
When I was reading those messages and just generally the feedback is saying, oh, he's come back, and I felt like Mumtaz or something like that, who took a sabbatical for many years and then came back in a film called
Andhiya. I've seen that movie.
And I feel like this, what kind of comeback? I've been here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
I just physically haven't directed a feature film in 7 years. But then a lot had happened in these 7 years. There was, I was prepping for Takht. 2.5 years went into that. Then 2 years went into the pandemic. Some 3 years went into my own PTSD. And then finally, like within all that, just organically, a love story was born. And like I decided to kind of like make a film that took me back into the DNA and syntax that I actually began with. Right. And I used to say it to everybody that pure conviction is the only essential ingredient that a filmmaker or a writer must have. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just go back to what I really love and unabashedly and unapologetically do it.
I watched the film like a lot of other press people in the press show, I think a day before the release, and it's obviously a packed show. And I have not come across a show where literally everyone's clapping. Everyone is, hooting. Even in the emotional moments, in the dialogue, they just say something. I first thought that they infiltrated fans into that show, or the critics have become less cynical, right? Yeah. I mean, they were like literally with the movie all through. But there's something that I saw, did I read before the release of yours, where you said something to the effect of, when you are really confident about a movie, you don't promote it much. Yeah. And I thought you weren't promoting this film as much. So you were confident about this movie.
No, I was not confident at all. I was not confident at all about anything. I was just at my confidence level was really at an all-time low for some reason, to do with, so much. The reason we didn't promote the film is because I had kind of done a deep dive into, or everybody who had been aggressively promoting their films, like we had also done, Jug Jug Jio, we had aggressively promoted, just these mall visits where there are 25,000 people who show up, and then 2.5 people don't show up eventually.
They don't buy the ticket,
So I'm like, and they're dancing in the same steps that they're doing in the song, they're doing on stage, and everyone's watching it for free. And I'm like, interviews, everyone's talking about things that actually they haven't seen. The critic or the member of the media hasn't really seen the film. So you're just obviously just conjecturing at that time. There, I use the word. And I just felt like we should keep it low, because why make a big noise about something, let the film speak for itself was really my, it was not that I was confident at all. I was like literally the most nervous I've ever been pre-release. I don't think I've ever been this stressed. And I tried to analyze it and psychoanalyze it and even speak to my psychologist about it. And I was like, why am I going through this internal trauma? And then she said, I think you have a late reaction to stuff that's happened in your life. And then also there's been a 7-year gap. You're also older,
And you're also going back to something you've done before.
And also, so you want to know is that, like, I remember when Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham released in the year of Lagan and Gaddar and Dil Chahta Hai, Kabhi Khushi landed and the end of the year, and everyone said, oh my God, cinema's moved on, and what is this? Old wine, new bottle. And I was like, I was hoping that wouldn't be the reaction, though I knew that there were elements in the film that were updated and contemporary in its own way, but I was very stressed. So there was no confidence, there was a low self-esteem, actually, weirdly, that I felt prior to the release.
Obviously, they would have pulled off anything. It's incredible. The casting to begin with, right? I mean, these two actors who were last in Gully Boy, I mean, they were in another zone, another world altogether. And that chemistry, right? They call each other Tutu, Lulu.
Yeah.
What's up? Like, these two people, explain these two people to me.
I don't know what it is. Tutu Lulu started on Gully Boy. I don't know how this Tutu and Lulu started. I think the origin is related to Zoya Akhtar, but it's something to do with, and now they do call Tutu and Lulu, which are anyway kind of pet names. They made that also into a pet name. It goes into Tuts and Luls now. It's like a pet name has a pet name also. So listen, they're buddies.
Right.
They're buddies. They get along famously as friends. And I believe two friends always translate on screen as great on-screen chemistry. Like Shah Rukh and Kajol Kajol are buddies, they're friends. Ranveer and Alia are great buddies. They chat, like when we used to sit down and chat, like we used to call it a kitty party because the three of us just sit feet up talking absolute rubbish about everything else in the world after the film, like we were done the shoot. And we were kind of a gang, and they, I know, were very, very close. So I think the chemistry comes from the familiarity of friendship.
Right.
Much more than, I feel
much
like
more than romantic interests.
Romantic couples or married couples. So I think they're so comfortable that they try to hide it in some weird way so that it doesn't look too much. I don't know what it is.
Right.
So whenever I've seen real life couples really on screen, I felt, no.
Not working out.
No, but like these two are just fire. You put them together in a screen in a moment on set. They're just amazing. There's this scintillating chemistry. Even the looks they exchange.
Right.
You know,
right. No, 100%. And in fact, I want to get into the origin of these two characters and the fact that Karan, for the most part, the film is about how opposite vibes attract, right? And all our lives we've met couples with ye dono kaise saath mein yaar. Like even in Bollywood, for instance, right? When I was watching them, and of course that's just me as an audience, I remember an episode of Coffee with Karan where you had Akshay Kumar and Twinkle Khanna, right? And these are fabulous couples. They've been together for many, many years. And I think Twinkle Khanna said on your show that it really started as a fling. Yeah. And then developed into this amazing relationship. And literally one is the hardcore Dildar Punjabi Munda, and the other one's a more literary type. Did you get inspired by these two?
No.
Okay.
Maybe subconsciously. And I know what you mean because they have a tremendous friendship and a marriage, and actually, like there's a lot when I've had dinners with them and meals with them. I've hung out with them, and there's a terrific kind of comfort in their camaraderie. He finds her hilarious. She finds him hilarious for different reasons. Yeah. So I felt it wasn't impossible for people who come from two different demographics of society, two stratas, to actually find love. It's like we put ourselves in boxes mostly. Like when we want to find a relationship, we're actually finding them in the places we're comfortable with. But tomorrow you could fall in love with somebody anywhere. And he was the kind of guy that I wanted to write a West Delhi boy who had his heart and his Gucci on his sleeve. So I was like, while he was Guccified top to bottom.
Did you dress him up?
No, Eka Lakhani did.
Okay, but you were the one saying no. And this.
So everybody said that, oh, has he worn your clothes? So I was like, no, that wouldn't fit him, but it would be too oversized. But in the sense that I got that space of fashion, because if you meet a lot of the boys, who have the wealth and have met with sometimes new wealth, and they're all at Emporio Mall shopping, and they love the brand, so they like to show it. They like the Gucci to be shown, So I felt like he was a brand whore, so to say, and he was really into wearing all kinds of brands, but that was not all he was about. He was really this great guy who had great friendships, and
all heart,
he was all heart from the beginning, and she was the polarized opposite. She came from a family of intellectuals, professionals, and for her he just seemed like an exotic dish, initially, that she was like, hey, this is kind of sexy in its own way, but I'd never be able to settle down with a man like this. But then, she says in one scene, pre-interview, she says, but kya karti, dil aa gaya beech mein. That means that all the intelligence went out of the window, all the pragmatism went out of the window, and then love kicks in, yaar. You don't know when that happens.
Is this your first feature film which is shot in India?
Yes.
It is, right?
Yes.
And is this, and I think it feels like one, it is the funniest film you made. Isn't this the funniest, funny,
I think so.
LOL funny movie you made?
I think, that's what we also all said. I mean, there were funny moments in all other movies, but this one is funny up to a point, up to a large point of the film, it's funny, and then it's funny even after. But
I mean, would you consider comedy in a genre-wise?
I don't know what to call it. People say is it a fam-com? I said it's not a rom-com, it's a fam-com.
Fam-dram-com.
Fam-dram, rom-com, whatever it is. It's like a mixture of many things.